Hey guys, welcome back. And today we're going to be doing my top 100 prospects in the 2024 NFL Draft, all positions. If you guys want a deeper evaluation on all these guys, I've done a prospect spotlight on every single one. So be sure to go check out those videos if you are interested. This has been a very incredible draft cycle so far. We're getting close to the end. Bittersweet ending, but let's take a look at my top 100 prospects. If you guys are interested, leave a like and subscribe for the next one. So let's get into the first batch of these guys. Starting it out, we've got at number 100, Adisa Isaac. Very good run defending edge rusher. Think he's got some nice upside. We're not going to go at length on all of these guys. We'll kind of point out some guys that I'm interested in. At 92, Braylon Trice, I think, is going to be interesting to some people. Guys, very slow. He came in at the combine, 30 pounds, undersized. 91, Mason Smith, a defensive tackle that's got all the upside in the world, just has yet to really be fully healthy, lost that explosiveness that he had his true freshman season. So I'd like to see that. Jumping back over to number 96, Jatavian Sanders, the one of three tight ends on here. I think the upside's there. He's going to be a great vertical threat, but the lack of blocking pushes him down. Andrew Phillips at number 90. I talked about it in my top 20 corners. I just don't really see it with him. He's a smart player, but he's not super fast. He's not super physical. He's, gotten the ball thrown right over his head at times. So I think the upside is certainly there with Phillips. You could see some tools that he has, but I'm just not there with them. Christian Mahogany at 87 is a guy that I've really come around to in the last couple of months. I think he is nasty in the run blocking department. I think he's going to be really good. Cedric Gray, Trevin Wallace, kind of on that same tier for me in terms of linebackers. Cedric Gray, a little bit better in coverage, I would say, than Trevin Wallace, but Gray maybe a little bit better of a run defender than Trevin Wallace. So those two are pretty close. I think the athleticism of Wallace gets him the edge. Try to see Michael Hall, Rook Aroro, McKinley Jackson, Dwayne Carter, a bunch of defensive tackles in that group that are all between, I believe, 11 and 8 in my group. So I like quite a few of those guys. We got the two Wake Forest defensive guys, Malik Mustafa and Kalen Carson. I think this is my number 100 through 85. Let's go ahead and look at the next group here, 84 through 69. A lot of corners here. I know one that's going to pop up to you guys is Marshawn Nealand at number 75. Could be a little bit higher, to be honest. Good edge rusher, very versatile. I think he's a good player. I think he goes in the second round. I just value some of these other receivers and positions down the board a little bit more. Kieran Amagaji at number 84. I think he's a bit raw, hasn't been fully healthy, but the upside is there with him. Delmar Glaze, I really, really like from Maryland. He is a very good prospect. He can play guard, can play tackle. I think he's going to be awesome. We've got a lot of safeties on the right side. Bishop, Braid, Bullock, Kinchins. I think they're all very, very close to each other. I still value Cameron Kinchins a lot. I think he's a very, very good safety. I know he wasn't good at the combine, but I still have him very high on my board because the tape doesn't lie. He's very quick. He's got good ball skills. He's a hard hitter. I love that. Cam Hart, Kyrie Jackson, Dwight McLaughlin, three corners that I'm very, very high on. All of them, great size. Hart, Jackson, maybe not the biggest slim frames, but I think they're all going to be great impact players. Kingsley Suamatia at number 74, I think is going to throw some people off. But the more I watch the tape, the more I'm just like, I wouldn't take this guy until round 3, maybe round 4. Very raw, just hasn't really pieced everything together yet. Brandon Dorlus, edge, defensive tackle, hybrid. Leonard Taylor at number 76. Braylon Allen, the first running back here at number 82. And then we got Dominic Puny down the board at number 69. So I think this is pretty solid. Still no receivers that we've talked about yet. I think it's a very top-heavy receiver class, and I value some of these guys pretty highly. But I think this is a good group of guys here. At the next group here, we've got at number 68, Patrick Paul. I like Paul. I think he's fine. This is a very offensive line-heavy group, if you can't tell. He's just not a good run blocker, and he's not super athletic. He's got great size that moves him down my board. Roger Rosengarten is the opposite. He is incredibly athletic. I'm a big fan of him. Devontae Walker, Roman Wilson, Malachi Corley, all kind of in that same group for me. I know I'm lower on Roman Wilson than a lot of people. I think he's a slot-only guy at the next level, which does hurt his stock. Same thing with Malachi Corley. Tez Walker just isn't very physical. Corley's elite after the catch. Roman Wilson's a great separator. I think they're both very good. Mike Sanders still would be higher if it wasn't for his size that I think limits him to being a slot corner only at the NFL level. Ronaldo Green has great size. I think he's going to be a great player, great man-to-man abilities. He's my number 9 corner in the class. Jonathan Brooks and Jalen Wright are interchangeable for me. If Brooks was healthy, I've talked about this on a few other occasions. If Brooks is healthy, he would be my number 1 running back in this class, but he tore his ACL, and that scares me. Jalen Wright has some of the most unbelievable long speed in this entire draft class, which I really, really love. TJ Tampa at 59. I think this is about the range he goes in the draft. I think he's good, but there's some questions about his man coverage abilities. Mason McCormick, very athletic, tons of experience. I've got him at 58. I think he's awesome. Chris Jenkins at number 57. Christian Haynes and Cooper Beebe, very close. I lean Beebe just because I think he can swing tackle. I also think he's a little bit more nasty in the run blocking department. And then we got Junior Colson, who I think might be the best coverage linebacker in this class. And Jordan Morgan at 53, I'm a little bit lower on than a lot of people. I think he's a good player, but I like that he could swing guard, but there's just some questions there with me in terms of consistency and stance, and I don't love that. Nothing too crazy here. Moving on to the next group of guys here. The receivers start to come off the board a little bit more here. Ben Sinnott, a tight end fullback hybrid who is awesome. I love Ben Sinnott. Been one of my guys in this class for a hot minute, and he continues to just prove me right. At number 51, we've got Jalen Polk from Washington. Reminds me of Chris Godwin a lot. Can play on that outside. He's got great size. He's a very good route runner, and he's got excellent hands. Kamari Lassiter, not a guy I love. I think he still has some questions for me in terms of speed, physicality. So I have questions about him in coverage, but he was very productive for Georgia. We're entering the top 50 now. Chop Robinson at 49. I know so many people love Chop Robinson, but he's just a guy that I think is too raw right now. I have way too many questions, and I prefer a guy like Chris Braswell, who I think is going to start right away. He's got versatility to play 3-4 outside linebacker. He could play 4-3 defensive end. He's very athletic, a good run defender, and was excellent as a pass rusher this year. I'm very high on Braswell. Newman is my number 2 safety technically. I love that guy. I think he's got the ball skills. I think he's a hard hitter. I think he's a smart player. Got excellent size at about 6'2". I really like him. Melton at 46 is a guy I think after 46, I would consider taking all of these guys round 1. I think all of these guys are round 1 consideration players from here on out for me. Melton starting that trend. I love this guy. Excellent speed, very fluid, can play in the slot, can play on the outside. I love what he has to offer. Ricky Pearsall is a guy that is excellent in my opinion. He's got some of the best hands in this draft class. He is a versatile weapon as well. They could play him in the backfield. There's so many ways they could use him, and I think he's versatile. Michael Penix Jr. is probably the most underrated quarterback in this class, in my opinion. I would say that, but now everyone seems to be coming around to Penix, so don't really know what to make of him, but where the consensus is on him. But I love Penix. I think he's an excellent player. He's got the best ball placement, one of the best and prettiest deep balls I think I have ever seen. I've got him at 44. Braden Fisk, bit of a late bloomer, bit undersized for the defensive tackle position, but he's going to be a great pass rushing interior defensive lineman. I've got him at 43. Xavier Worthy, Ladd McConkey, both great receivers that I don't think go in round 1. I think Worthy, everyone is going to be enamored with the speed. I actually think he's a much better route runner than we give him credit for as well, but he is not a physical receiver whatsoever. Ladd McConkey is the same thing. I think he's got great speed. He's a very good athlete. He's a very good separator, but I don't think he's the most physical. That's why they're on that same tier. Darius Robinson at number 40 is a guy that I'm a big fan of. I think he's got athleticism. I think he can play anywhere on your defensive line. I think he's going to be a very valuable player. Trey Benson, best running back in this class, excellent long speed, can catch the ball out of the backfield. Not really a lot of weaknesses in his game. Bo Nix at 38, another guy who I'm pretty high on. I think he reminds me of a Jalen Hurts, Alex Smith type quarterback. He's mobile, can throw the ball on the run. And then we got Ennis Rakestraw at 37, who's an electric corner. The production's not there for him, but I think Rakestraw has a lot of tools that I really value. Entering this next group of players at number 36, Xavier Leggett out of South Carolina. I know he's a bit older, but the guy's he's awesome. I love Xavier Leggett. Edgerrin Cooper and Peyton Wilson are 1A, 1B for me in terms of linebackers. I lean Wilson on the board simply because I think he's a better tackler and better in coverage. Edgerrin Cooper might end up going earlier simply because I think he is more what NFL teams are looking for in terms of a pass rusher at the linebacker position, but I think they're very close. Guyton, Barton, Frazier, all three very good offensive linemen. You guys, if you followed this channel for a while, I love Zach Frazier. I do think he goes in the first round. Same thing with Graham Barton. I think Graham Barton goes in the first round over some of these guys that I have later that I just value a lot higher. Guyton is interesting because he's so raw, still such a project, but the upside with him is out of this world. Keon Coleman and Troy Franklin, very close. I lean Troy Franklin because I think he's able to separate a little bit better down the field. I think he's got better speed down the field than Coleman. Coleman is that contested catch guy. Throw it up there. He's going to go get it. I love Keon Coleman. I think he's a lot better of a receiver than we realize. Cooper DeJean at 28. He's technically my number one safety because I think he's going to play safety at the NFL. Very athletic. He does a lot of things really well. At 27, I got J.C. Latham, which I know is a lot lower than a lot of people are going to have him. I'm worried about his motor. I really am. He gives up on plays too early. I still think he's great because of his versatility, because he could do a lot of things for you, but his motor really worries me as an evaluator. J.J. McCarthy is at 26. I think he's a good quarterback. He's going to go in the top 5. I just don't really I'm not in love with his game. I think he goes in the first. He got a first-round grade on him. I like his ball placement. I like his athleticism. I think he's still a bit of a project, though. Nate Wiggins, Kool-Aid McKinstry, very close on my cornerback rankings. I like McKinstry's size and press man abilities a little bit better. Byron Murphy and Tavondre Sweat are 1A, 1B for me in terms of defensive tackles here for Texas. I think they're almost identical. I like Sweat more. He will not go in the first round. So, like, Guyton will probably get in the first round. Some of these guys, like I said, you won't hear their name called in the first. But Tavondre Sweat is really, really good. He's way more athletic than a player of his size should be. He has pass rush upside, and I think he's a better run defender than Murphy, while Murphy is a better pass rusher than Tavondre Sweat and not as good a run defender. I think they're very close. I lean Sweat. At number 21, Jax Powers Johnson, one of the most athletic freaks, a bulldozer on that interior. I'm a huge fan of what he can offer. He might not go in the first round either from what we're hearing. So that's really interesting. I'm going to be curious to see where he ends up falling. But let's go into this next group. Brian Thomas Jr. and Adonai Mitchell are very close for me. I like Mitchell more. I think he's a better separator downfield. More reps, more consistency. But that is no knock on Brian Thomas Jr. I think he is a very good prospect. Terrion Arnold's at number 18. I love his stop-and-go ability, his ability in man coverage. You can play in the slot, you can play on the outside. Jerzon Newton is at number 17 for me. He could be a little bit higher for me. I love Jerzon Newton. I think he is one of the best defensive tackle prospects I've seen. He's a great run defender, a great pass rusher. Yeah, he's a bit undersized, but he is an excellent piece. Amarius Mims, Talise Fuaga, very close. I lean Fuaga just because of experience. Athleticism is there, but I think Mims has the highest ceiling of any tackle in this draft class. Quinyon Mitchell is my number 1 corner in the draft. I've got him at number 14. I think he could do everything for you. We know that he didn't run a lot of man-to-man with Toledo, but the reps that we saw at the Senior Bowl, we saw at the Combine, he has the fluidity and movement abilities to be able to play there. Fautanu is electric. He has that size. He's got the foot speed. He did get beat outside at times. I think he could play guard at the next level. And then at number 12, it's Jared Verse. Number 11, it's Dallas Turner. Both of these guys are almost identical for me. I like Dallas Turner's upside a little bit more. I think Dallas Turner has the higher ceiling of the two, while Verse has the higher floor. He's a great pass rusher, good run defender, and excellent size as well. Entering the top 10. At number 10, I've got Laiatu Latu out of UCLA. I think he's the best edge rusher defensive player in this draft class. His ability to put a bunch of pass rush moves together, I've never seen anyone coming out of the collegiate level. I know the medicals are a concern. I would take this guy. I mean, I would consider taking him at 4 for Arizona if Marvin Harrison Jr. is not on the board. Laiatu Latu is that good of a prospect. I think he should go in the top 10. He's my number 10 player in the draft. At number 9, it's Olu Fashanu. I don't really know what phonetically it sounds, what it's supposed to be, but I think we slept on this guy throughout this draft process. Yeah, he's not maybe the most athletic freak offensive tackle in the world, maybe not the most amazing run defender, but he is a strong force at that left tackle position. I think he comes in, is an instant starter. I love what he can do. I think he's got the length, the hand size, great footwork. He was my number 1 tackle for a long time. I really like Fashanu, and I think he is my number 9 player in this class. At number 8, it is Drake May out of North Carolina. I think May's fine. Great deep ball. I think he's got questions with his footwork. I like that he's willing to attack the middle of the field, but some of the advanced stats concern me. Probably a top 3 pick if I had to guess. I think the upside's there with Drake May. I really do, but I've got him at number 8. I do think there are some questions with his game and how they're going to translate, and he kind of didn't show up in the biggest moments for North Carolina. So I've got May at 8. At number 7, we've got Mr. Malik Neighbors. I know a lot of people love Malik Neighbors. He's a guy that's growing on me as the draft process continues. I do think he's a slot receiver at the next level. I don't think he's going to be an outside threat like some of the other guys coming up on this. There are another couple receivers. I think Neighbors is a good receiver. The speed, the route running, even though he didn't run an extensive route tree, what he showed, he's quick. He breaks out of his routes quickly. He's got good hands. I want to see him be a little bit more physical and be a better contested catch guy, but the upside is there. I think he's going to be another top 10 pick. I think he's electric. And as a Colts fan, this is a guy that I would be all the way in on trading up for. At number 6, we've got Jaden Daniels. So back-to-back LSU guys. Daniels with the mobility. Daniels with his deep ball placement. He's very good at finding receivers on these go routes. I like that about him. He attacks the sidelines well. He's one of the best athletes in this draft class. He's my number 6 player, my number 2 quarterback. I think he's got a lot of upside to be a very good quarterback. The frame is concerning, takes unnecessary hits. And outside of his Heisman winning season, the production hasn't been elite. So that's something that I'll pay attention to. But I've got Daniels at 6. At number 5, we've got Joe Alt, generational left tackle prospect. He does everything extremely well. Run block, pass block. He's got the size. Everything you want in a tackle, Joe Alt will provide to you. He's 6'7", 300 pounds. He's got excellent hand placement. He does stop moving his feet sometimes when met with power, but he's got the quickness. He gets to the second level well. He's very elite in pass blocking. Just doesn't get beat ever. I love Joe Alt. He is number 5. At number 4, it's Brock Bowers, a guy who can block, a guy who can receive. I know the frame is going to be a concern for some people, but he's going to be a top 10 pick. He does everything you want a tight end to do. You can run end rounds with Brock Bowers. He's a good blocker. Yeah, the frame is really the biggest concern. He's got great hands, great after the catch, good route runner, like everything you want in a tight end, Brock Bowers has. He's my number 4 player. And number 3, it's Rome Odunze. I think Odunze is a borderline generational receiver. In any other draft, we might throw that term around. And it's unfortunate that he's in the draft with Marvin Harrison Jr. because Rome Odunze is that good. He has the speed. He beats everybody. He's such a good route runner. His contested catch numbers, he doesn't have contested catches because he's such a good, crisp route runner. Maybe his release package at the line of scrimmage isn't the best, He reminds me of a DK Metcalf type receiver. I think Rome Odunze is going to be an elite receiver in the NFL. He's my number 3 player in the class. At number 2, it's Caleb Williams. I don't really think it's a debate here. He's the best quarterback in this draft class. The ability to extend plays. There are times where he could take checkdowns. I'm not going to lie there, but the way he can extend plays, his ability to throw off platform and the ball at a bunch of different angles. It's the closest thing to Patrick Mahomes we have seen. He is an unbelievable quarterback talent. He can move. He's got great pocket awareness. He's very slippery in the backfield. He's got one of the best arms I think I've seen as well. He's accurate with the football. He's my number 2 player, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is number 1. I don't really think I could say anything that I haven't said about Marv already. The size, he's 6'4". The speed, runs in the 4.3s. The hands, he catches everything. He's unbelievable on the sidelines. He's an unbelievable route runner and separator. Some people have tried to question his motor. I'm not buying it. He's my number 1 player in the class, and I don't think that it is debatable in my opinion. But that's going to do it. Those are my top 100 players in the draft class. We kind of flew by that. So if you guys have any questions, ask them in the comment section. But that's going to do it for me. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.